Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 276, and today we're doing battle in the Last Chance Gauntlet. And so, just one match for us today. We've already got the 4 check marks, so we'll only be playing the final battle in this Last Chance Gauntlet, and it's going to be a very similar lineup to what we brought in the previous video. And so, I think with the previous video where we were playing Leona Katarina, Blue Gwen, and then Jinx Draven, I worried that we'd just run into too many lineups to where you have to play against, say, like Aatrox Kane and then play against some kind of Nora deck, and you're just going to get smoked. There's just no way that you can ban out enough. And I do ultimately worry a little bit about the triple control lineups, and I'm just never really happy with the likes of Jinx Draven. I tried to work on it a bit more and get it a little bit into the more mid-rangey spectrum of things that I enjoy, but I just, at the end of the day, feel like it's too all-in. And, you know, it might realistically be a good deck to take into the Last Chance Gauntlet if you're not real confident and taking it down, since it is a deck that can just like face roll and crush very quickly. But we're switching it out of the lineup today for Aatrox Kane, and I think that gives us a little bit more balance in our lineup. And so we don't have any of these sets of matchups to where we should just completely crush, but we should never find ourselves in the space to where the opposing lineup just completely nukes what we're doing. And I do suspect we're going to probably run into the occasion where opponent just bans Aatrox Kane. But again, I felt like it was just like too easy to run into, say, like an Aatrox Kane and a Jinx Echo based lineup, and then a just third rando control deck, and not feel really good about what's happening there. And so I think we can handle pretty much anything that gets thrown at us. We'll try to kind of roll with the pick and ban strategy as we get in there. We'll see if we can't kind of surmise what we think our opponent's going to try and ban, and then react to that accordingly, and see if we can't take down this Last Chance Gauntlet and get the qualification into seasonals. And so again, with our deck lists, it's the same Katarina Leona from yesterday. Eat your broccoli and stuff. That's what we're going to be doing here with the Battle Academia crew. This is the list that I'm quite confident in being extremely good. We aren't playing Legion Saboteurs or the +2 attack thing. That stuff's just too garbagey. We have the Solari Priestesses for a bit more mid-range, the Shunpo as a piece of rally without Katarina, and then a Nox and Tellstones for a bit of catch-all interactivity. Again, I'm quite happy with this version of Katarina Leona. Not to toot my own horn, but I do think it's the best one running around. And so pretty confident with that. Deck number 2, we're playing Blue Gwen, Sejuani Gwen. We have updated this a little bit from the previous video. In the previous video, I was playing under the assumption that I was just going to ban Aatrox Kane every time. And so now that I'm kind of planning on leaving that one up, we needed to make a bit of adjustments to Sejuani Gwen. And so the Vengeances come back in, and the Atrocities come back in. This is a collection of cards that Aatrox Kane can really get either tempoed out with in the face of the Vengeance, or the Atrocity just coming in and closing out the game against a deck that realistically has 3 removal spells. And so again, I suspect Aatrox Kane's going to be, fairly popular. We're only playing one match, so who knows what we'll run into. But that's the idea with this updated version of the list. Last but not least, we are playing Aatrox Kane. I have become quite fond, I guess you should say, of the versions that play the 3 Shadowblade Fanatics. I feel like it's too easy for this deck to run into turn 3 and turn 4 and then just have absolutely no plays. If you only have the 9 units and the Buru Cultist, the Forsaken Bakai, and the Keeper of the Box, I felt like I just played way too many games that that wasn't a... they just weren't drawn in time, even with the full mulligan, and it was like turn 4 before we could even do anything. And so the 3 Shadowblade Fanatics I'm on board with. We are playing the 3 Ambitious Cultists. I haven't been super impressed with the Scout unit in this format. You just don't have a ton of opportunity to get a bunch of value out of him with a Darkened Spear, with a Darkened Fan. And so I've just gone with the little bit more consistent, if you will, Ambitious Cultists. It's a little bit better, in my opinion, against the likes of the Jinx Draven style aggro decks, and that generated spell can always be quite useful. And so those are the decks that what we'll be doing battle with today. You know what we have to do before the battles begin. We got to go and turn something premium. And I'm feeling pretty good about this one. You know, we need a good high roll in this style of event. And so I think we should probably go and let Gwen join the Star Guardians. And, you know, this is a big one. We haven't given the Star Guardian Gwen skin the treatment. I like it. It's nice and happy. It's not one of those scary ones like the Corrupted. And so I think that's all we should need to come in and make our way into victory. So let's double check, make sure we got that one equipped. There we go. And jump on into battle. So here we are. No Battle Furies today. A little bit of Broccoli Snack and the Cane Train. Jumping on in. Ooh, what the hell? Where's our, I thought we had all the check marks, but now it's showing everything up for the gauntlet. That's very strange to me. That's not how I expected that one to go. Interesting. Did I miss something with this? Well, let's compete for our chance to qualify, I guess. That's very strange. We had the 4 check marks, but it still made us play against everything. That's very interesting to me. And okay, so doing battle up against Sir Termund. This is the kind of space to where I think we have to ban out their Aatrox Cane, but the Gangplank Sejuani matchup isn't particularly good. And so I think we'll still be kind of okay with that. The other option we have is to just ban out Nora. The Nora matchup for them is going to be pretty good against our Katarina Leona, and then it has some game against Aatrox Cane as well. But I think that's where we can kind of stand. I do worry about leaving up the Gangplank Sejuani, but where are you at? We'll take out the Aatrox Cane, jump on into battle. And so again, the matchup with Nora and the Katarina deck isn't spectacular, but that's where we're going to start out with today. We'll see who he brings into our Katarina deck, see what goes up. Left deck against left deck. All right. So let's see. Reasonable enough start with the Crimson Pigeon. I'm kind of okay to hang on to Solari Priestess. This is one of these matchups to where we really would like to pick up the like triple 1-drop draw, but I feel like we'll have some time to try and work in the Priestess, and if we just miss too much in the early game, it's going to be a bit of a disaster. And so, Pigeon time it is. See how locked and loaded it gets with those early game summons. Nice pickup. Welcome, Shield Bearer. Sir Termund knows what's up as well. Let's check out that premium on premium battle we got going on here. Good stuff. And so this is kind of an interesting space in that I want to boost the Crimson Pigeon, right? But I have to worry about the opposing deck having both Ravenous Flock and like 1 damage style pings. Now that he brings the stun in on our Sun Guardian, then just fine, we'll swing with everyone. But I think that was kind of an interesting space there to where, say he plays a 2-drop, and then we have to consider if we want to either shrink our 3/2 to 1 health, or if we want to put a damage onto the Sun Guardian. This is a pretty tempting place to drop a Katarina. Like, the thing for him as we roll into the next turn is we're not going to be able to get any stuns with our champions, right? And so I think we can play Katarina, just open attack, then follow up with a stun-based champion, and then see if we can't start getting rallies on the following turn. Like, we can realistically protect our Katarina with the Nox and Tellstones. Holy shit. That's a delightful hit for opponent. Delightful hit. Alright, well, let's see if we can at least get the Katarina rolling here. Uh-oh. Oh, come on. Oh, what a complete disaster. This turn would have been, like, reasonable if he didn't have a unit to take down our Sun Guardian, but I feel like that's a spot that you just, like, have to attack, and having it fall that way is just pure on disaster mode. Holy shit. Just another Jawl Hunters. So he's got the 2 sea monsters in hand as well. Oh, it's insane. Insane. All right. On to the next one. Just got savaged by the Nora deck. And so that's, you know, kind of expected. That's a fairly tough matchup for the Katarina deck to come in and face. And so see what we can do against Sejuani. Perhaps we can turn the tables. So, all right, we'll hang on to the Solari Soldier. See if we can't find any more early game stuff. We did. And so this is one of these interesting starts against the likes of Gangplank Sejuani. If they have the Shell Shocker on the first turn, they can trade with the Legion Rearguard, which kind of sucks. But you know, you can add in the Solari Soldier as a 3/3 and try and just outright win those combats. But then you kind of lose out on the following turn. I like being able to take the shutdowns on turn 2, because we're really here just to try and prevent damage. And so getting the safety net out of the Solari Soldier can be fairly useful. Now here, he shouldn't have any units big enough to deal with our combats, so we can pretty safely add the Solari Priestess and still attack with her. And then I do like picking up Fallen Comets here. This opposing deck is all about the champions. Their units are just pure garbage, but having this removal spell for both Gangplank and Sejuani can be really critical. Submarai Warden. I think we go ahead and slap in the Katarina. Not a lot of ways for opponent to actually come in and kill her. So, you know, decent chance that she survives. What is he at? He's only at 1 tick up. We could look to actually throw away the Katarina here, but that's probably a little greedy. So we'll let him get the tick up here, save her for next round. See if we can't start to get the rallies in. Okay, he shouldn't have anything big enough to deal with Ravun. If he wants to drop Gangplank here, that's completely okay. Not worried about Gangplank whatsoever. Alright. Not a bad position. He's up to the 3 ticks on his units, so a couple of turns away from being able to get those big hits in with the Sejuani. There she is. So it's kind of interesting with this turn as to whether or not he's going to have a way to... there's a couple of things with it, right? He's got to have a way to deal damage to our face, like a Make It Rain. We do have the chance to just completely shut down his damage opportunities. I don't think we'll get away with it this turn, but I don't think this is the space to where we want to Fallen Comet Sejuani. That's tough though, because if he has 1 for this turn and then 2 for next turn, he can start to do the Frostbite shenanigans. But, ooh, are we gonna get out of this? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Make him need another card now. The parlay didn't go to face, so needs a Make It Rain now to get the tick up on Sejuani. Warning shot, same thing. Okay, cool. So we have a couple of options with this turn. We can just lead off with the Fallen Comet, but I think that feels a little greedy. I think I want to come in and just start going for stuns and see if we can't punch in a bunch of damage this round. And so let's do this. Let's drop in a Sunhawk. It's going to stun both of his units. We can, if he follows up with like a dude, then we can still play the Solari Soldier and get a stun and then start doing Katarina things. And then if he starts pushing to face and tries to go for the Frostbites, I think that's okay. It's going to take quite a bit of resources to push the Frostbite plan in. Uh-oh. That can't feel good. Oh, there's the warning shot. Alright. Does he have a way to deal the damage to the face, though? That's the big one. Alright, does not. Game 3 it is. Sejuani on Sejuani action. You know how it looks. Alright. The blue versus the brown, as they say. That's what they say, right? It's he's playing brown Sejuani over there. It's like blue Gwen and brown Sejuani. I think that's the way it goes. So with this, I usually like to hang on to the Ancient Yetis, but we need to come in and dig for our 1s and our 2s. We have to get something on board in the early game here. We can't let them just all willy-nilly come out and start immediately leveling up their champions. So we don't have a lot of 1-drops. So wasn't really expecting a lot out of this turn, and then I would have really preferred to hit a 2-health unit here, but let's see. It's very easy for him to make it rain or parlay out our Phantom Butler. Yep. Going firmly in the opponent's favor. Alright. We're going to count on you to level us up here, Gwen. You got to get the things going for next round. She should be pretty safe. Not a ton that the opponent can do to interact with a Gwen here. All right, damage incoming. He's up to 4 ticks, and so we'll see. We'll see if that Gangplank comes down next turn. If he's got a Gangplank, we're really gonna be hurting, but without one, we might have a shot. Okay. So interesting. He's at that 5 mark now. We have to start worrying about like what happens if he comes in with a Sejuani of his own next turn and then is able to frostbite us. I don't like this. I think we're ready to just like turn on damage mode. So I'm going to Unspeakable Horror the face. I'm going to drop a Doom Beast. Give us a little bit of drain here, and then we'll have the 2 units that get to attack next turn. And not have to worry about getting countered by like a Sejuani plus a warning shot. We should at least hopefully be able to punch in a little bit of damage. That doesn't work out now, does it? Are we just going to have to switch to Overwhelm? I think we do. That was probably a little greedy with the with the Unspeakable Horror. But let's just pivot and fix it, right? There's no reason to continue on with this Doom Beast plan. A little sloppy. Man, if we had that... That's brutal. Like, if he doesn't have Sejuani, and then the next turn we just get to, like, open, and then he doesn't have a Sejuani, and you can just kill him with Atrocity. That's, like, it's even more of just disaster mode now with our Gwen losing out on that 2 mana. But it's okay. We'll continue on. The battles will progress. So the card to worry about here is going to be Three Sisters, right? Three Sisters would be a serious problem with him getting a flash freeze in. Okay. Made it that far, fam. There's the Sejuani.
Fight for your lives. Pain is nothing.
Alright, so who do we go for here? He shouldn't be able to just lethal us next turn, right? Man, I'm really regretting not having that 2 mana now. It's been so brutal to not have it on board, but he's only at 11. So it's like, does he really want to come in next turn and just open attack? That doesn't seem particularly good. We're also to the point to where we can almost activate our Sejuani to get the bonuses for 2 turns from now. I think that's the way we want to chase after this.
You own what you take.
Right, if we get a Doom Beast this turn, we can roll into next turn and try to get another Doom Beast. I mean, we have that 6 damage here now, as long as we just don't die. The unfortunate part of this really big Doom Beast hand is we can't actually cast Quietus on anything. Like, I wonder if we can get ourselves in a spot to where our Sejuani, we'd have like 1 unit fall, right? We have 1 unit in the space of getting Frostbitten, and then we Quietus our own unit and follow up with the double Doom Beast. I think that's going to be the way we go about this. As long as he doesn't have a Gangplank here, I think this plan should work out. Whew, okay, okay. That takes us to 2. That's pretty scary. Alright, I feel a little better at 4. Losing Gwen. Not that bad. I don't think our champions are really even relevant anymore. Alright, Quietus on the board. Here it comes, fam. We gotta roll into next turn. Draw a unit that we can cast for that we can cast and still Doom Beast. Squeeze them cheeks, fellas. Squeeze them cheeks. Alright, there it is. There it is. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Nice. Get ready for it. Here it comes. Can't get it onto board fast enough. Oh, Gangplank. Alright, so we watch the animations and then we get to drop it. We get to drop the thunder in here. Boom. GG. Alright, good stuff. Now, I don't know what to think of this anymore. So we come in, we win our first match. We had the 4 check marks coming into the last chance gauntlet, and looks like we're going to have to continue playing. We did the more challenging than usual boss in Sir Termund. If you're not familiar with him, he does the best of 3 stuff over on Mastering Runeterra. But I guess we're still battling on. I'm honestly, realistically not surprised that the gauntlet is kind of messed up right now. It's just, it's not to talk trash too much, but with like the 16 weeks of gauntlet or however much was out there, it's a little. I was not surprised that something was amiss or awry. But okay, running into this matchup, I'm going to go ahead and ban out the Twisted Fate Swain. This is the kind of place to where now, regardless of what he keeps up, none of our matchups are terrible. All right, some of our decks are going to be slightly unfavored to Darius Bone Club, but I think we should be okay on the whole against these. The one that we need to kind of watch ourselves for is the Sejuani Gangplank into Aatrox Kayn matchup is not particularly good, but the Aatrox Kayn matchup into Darius is good, and so it's tough. We'll see what he throws at us. I'm going to lead off with the blue Gwen, see if we can't face it off against the Gangplank Sejuani, and try and get that favorable matchup there. If not, I guess I'm kind of okay with the two matchups into the Bone Club. Oh, and now the game's just going to break. This is our day today, huh? This is our gauntlet. This is what we're dealing with. Oh, we made it. I was about to restart, and then the game loaded up. And so he is bringing the Darius Gnar as his first one. So let's see. There's not a lot of targets in the deck for Unspeakable Horror to hit. So let's just start with the Phantom Butler and see if we can't find another cheapo. Did not, but Gwen's pretty useful. All right, no one drop. That's good. So I'm going to lead in with the Phantom Butler. If we can, I would like to use the Tusk Speaker on the opposing turn so we can try and get those Sejuani level ups. We got, a handful of ways to activate Sejuani on the opposing turn. Spirits Unleashed, Tusk Speaker, and the like. And so if we can do it, I'd like to try. All right, nice little board clear. Our units aren't going to do anything else from this point, and so might as well prevent as much damage as we can. And then hopefully Gwen's going to start getting some pretty good attacks here. I'd still rather play Gwen than the Redeemed Prodigy. Okay. Here it comes. Not a bad spot to be in. This is a pretty good curve into them. We're going to be able to Prodigy Ancient Yeti now. And then 2 turns from now, we can look to... or next turn, we can just look to play Sejuani. Should be able to overwhelm through this board. So I'm curious what's in this opposing deck and how much we have to worry about. Like, I don't really want to get Gwen involved in this combat. He's like in the spot to where he just has to attack 100% of the time anyways. But I wonder how much we have to worry about, like, the +2 attack thing. At least with here, this is close. It's like, I'm just going to take it. The key thing with this is, like, he doesn't have the mana to decimate this turn. And so if we're going to... Okay, I feel much better now. It's like if he's going to burn us out, he really needed to do it before we started combat there. Alright, so let's get the Sejuani in and just slam. We don't have to worry about the rear guard. Should have enough damage here to close the game out now. Looks like neg 13 into 7. Needs a 3 sisters or something to get out of this one. Uh-oh. Something coming down to the center. This is going to be a double Nox and Fervor to ruin our day. He's thinking about it. He's not giving up on this one. Ooh, a stun. Still exacties. All right. Fight for your lives, Grizzle. Okay. Get that. Star Guardian Gwen doing the thing. So now we get 2 shots with the old Aatrox Cane. Let's see what we can do. Look at that. Look at the muscles on Aatrox, man. He's ripped. He's got... Is he a demon? I bet he's a demon. He's got that ripped demon thing going on. He's probably been eating his broccoli out there with Leona. Knows what's up. All right, on to Gangplank Sejuani. Again, this is not a particularly good matchup. I went to Mulligan just for units. We have to have something to throw down in the early game. There we go, that's much better with the Bakai and the Keeper. The Keeper being the big one here, giving us a way to potentially start getting these big lifesteal hits in. Now that he's played a unit, we have to play a unit. I didn't want to get the Bakai in, but kind of is what it is. We need a unit down here and potentially blocking this Shell Shocker. This attack is just free, right? It's just like if he is counting on his unit to come across and deal damage, then he... I don't know. I guess there's a couple of different ways to read into that, right? We shouldn't be worried about a parlay now, and I don't think we should be worried about a... and I don't think we should be worried about a Make It Rain. It really strikes me as a turn to where if he had some of that stuff, he would have just brought it. Maybe not. This is okay, though. To build up our board presence a little bit. See what we can do.
Pledge to the dark within.
Wonder what he lands on with the Castaway. If he comes up with the way to get the plus attack. Yeah, well, you big. You big over here, aren't you? That's okay. No reason to attack here. We'll be a little bit more defensive with the Keeper of the Box since we have the momentous choice in hand. All right, life total staying high. It's not bad. His champion level ups are kind of low too, so no complaints there. And then do we want to add Keeper of the Box? I'm not like amped about it. I'm thinking we can probably just wait 2 turns from now. So let's do this. Let's Darken Spear our Darken Thrall. We're still gonna play Kane next turn, and then see if we can't keep the board going. This is going pretty well.
The child is gone. The killer remains.
Not bad, not bad. We're gonna end up losing our Kane to Make It Rain. It's not that big of a deal if we do. I'm pretty happy to get the zap off of the board. Yeah, it's a good round. That's a good turn. Ask me if I'm complaining about that turn. I'm not. He's still only at 3 ticks on his champions, and so he's not using his Sejuani to mess up our Darken Thralls anytime soon. That one's a little annoying. Not too much we can do about Sejuani here. We're not going to be able to take her down. So, I mean, I guess we just end up adding Aatrox. I don't really want to advertise that we're not going to have any mana. Let's just pass on it and give him a chance to do something weird, you know? Hey, bro, do something weird. Mess this up somehow. Okay. He's definitely attacking, though.
For conquest.
You fought hard, Kane. I mean, I guess we could, if we really wanted to protect the Cane, we could have equipped him and then done a Furious Wielder, but that doesn't sound super appealing to me. Alright, well, let's just build up some board. We gotta get something happening here. We need some width. We just gotta be ready to come out here and just block over and over again. There's a Sejuani flip. So the way you tend to be able to handle this kind of thing with the giant Sejuani and all of the frostbites is to throw down the World Ender. If you still have the 10-10 Aatrox, you can do a lot of blocking, but we're a little bit short of getting to that space. So we're gonna have to just try and soak damage for a turn, and then 2 turns from now we'll try and get the flipped Aatrox. So let's just get health on board. I'm gonna drop in the Shadowblade Fanatic.
A greater power lurks beyond darkness.
I would like to kind of bait out a damage if we can. I mean, he gets to kind of ignore what we're doing, but if we can get him to, you know, throw down a frostbite when he doesn't really need to. You know, if he plays a warning shot right now, that would be pretty good for us. And I also like this. If we get the Sejuani down to 6, then we can potentially kill her with the Aatrox Furious Wielder. I don't think that's going to be super common, but we got a chance with that.
Eternal silence.
Okay, not bad. Now Gangplank comes in. Alright, well, it's going to get health on board. It's not a ton we can do about this. You can put the Expanse Protection onto something to help prevent the Gangplank blast, but it's tough, man. It's tough. So we're gonna do something like this. We're not dead. That's always a perk. Now the next question is: do we want to protect our Aatrox here? And I think we do. I think we want to drop an Expanse Protection on him. Not quite ready for him to die. All right, let's see how that goes. No warning shots, please. Always going for the make it rain, and he hits face. Must be nice. Must be nice. We had a decent chance there, I think. Not the greatest chance, but a decent one. All right. It's rough seeing it be the make it rain, man. When the warning shot comes in, you're just kind of like, yeah, whatever. But when the make it rain comes down, it's you got to have RNGesus on your side when that starts to happen. All right. Game 3. Aatrox Cane against the old Darius Gnar. Let's see what you can do there, Overwhelm Friend. Interesting start. I don't think we want the Darkened Harp, but the Darkened Spear is a welcome addition to the squad here, giving us a potential, you know, for making the 3-2 Bakai and then putting a Darkened Spear on it. Gives us that opportunity to block his 3-2s. So let's pick up the Darkened Harp here. I do want the stats, and it also works fantastically with the Keeper of the Box. So now you have a question, and do you want to attack, right? If he drops a bigger unit on the upcoming turn, then we have a bit of an issue, but it's very interesting seeing the Crimson Pigeon come down. We can trade with it and feel pretty good about it. It's like he has to have another dude, right? Otherwise, the pigeon's just useless. And then here, want the equipment again, so that we can get the Bakai going. Oh, hang on, that didn't come together exactly how I intended. We're gonna heal so much of this back, though. Let's just stop. Is it worth just stopping here? All right. That's tough, right? You know we're playing the Keeper Darkened Harp next turn, so we're going to have a bit of life gain back, but he shouldn't be able to interact with this whatsoever. So I think getting the Keeper of the Box Harp and then the Ambitious Cultist is the big blocker 2 turns from now, and then we should be picking up a Cane off of this Keeper of the Box. That gets us pretty close to the business end of what we're trying to do. Everybody wants to be on the business end of what we're trying to do, you know. that's the place to be. That's the place to be. Oh, beautiful Unforgiving Cold. Great card 2 turns from now. So he's going to flip his Gnar. Not a ton that we could end up doing about that, but when he's in Mega Gnar mode 2 turns from now and trying to do stuff, then we'll have an opportunity there. Sharesies. I didn't have big plans for Sharesies, but I'm curious what we can do with that thing. Shifting a... if we shift a... Give an ally with an attachment the stats and keywords of the attachment this round, and then move the attachment to another ally. Okay. We're gonna mess this up, but let's see what we can do. Now, it's been a while since I've seen Gnar. Is this permanent? When I level up, grant the strongest enemy vulnerable. Okay, so that's not going away. That's not going anywhere. Let's bring in Cane. Cane gets a good hook into the Iron Ballista, and then this is where I'm kind of curious if we can't, say, shift the Keeper of the Box over onto the Cultist, and then just have that fantastic combat against Gnar. Probably don't need to. It's probably safe enough just to go into the next turn. Ooh, Bone Club. And plan on playing Unforgiven Cold. And that gives us a chance to kind of like cycle back and fix things a little bit. Okay. Bone Club's just a little bit too much. Alright, so not a bad round there. We can get good quick attack challenges next turn, and Gnar's going to flip to the less scary side, so I feel okay with that. Blood for blood. Typically garbage, but we get another Ambitious Cultist. It's kind of interesting. So many Bone Clubs. Alright, we're gonna have to get Aatrox online soon. We need to World Ender this board. So where are we at? The Cane Shadow Step is pretty interesting. It's going to let us get a follow-up here and try and take down one of these units, but I mean, his units are going to be good forever because of that Bone Club. That's kind of annoying. But our World Ender isn't going to be quite big enough. We're going to need to get some of the strikes in this round so we can World Ender 2 turns from now. So let's just go ahead and bring some of this in. I think I'm okay with attacking with everything that can trade with the Iron Ballista. So we'll keep the Cultist at home. Now we can share these. Oh no, we can't share these onto this guy. I thought he moved his Ballista in, and I was like, oh, this is going to be cool, but not quite there. World Ender's at 10. Not too far away from the flip. Ew. That's a pretty good Shunpo. Is this where we're going to have to share these? We could push the Aatrox weapon onto the keeper of the box to keep it alive. I think so. We gotta stay alive here. It'll take it up to 3 health and then bounce the equipment. Oh, he had a pokey stick. Okay. Is this the Kane he's seen? Sure is. So, I mean, not horrible, right? Not horrible. That's only -8, so does the Darius flip like this? He does, but he doesn't get bonus health, right? Okay, just don't die. That seems like a reasonable enough plan here. Do we want to blood for blood any of this stuff? Probably not. I don't know what happens if you blood for blood a Darken, but that seems like something that could be useful. Oh, are you kidding me? Well, we prevented every damage we could there. All right. The Battle Fury. What a way to go, man. What a way to go. All right. GG's, my dude. Ooh, that felt like the turn we were about to recover, too. It's harsh. All right. So let's see. I'm going to go check on Play Runeterra real quick and see what they say about the last chance gauntlets and not getting that start. I worry about the qualifier for seasonals if we really need it, and I'm going to go check on that. So we'll see what happens with the video. The Chiefs game's also about to kick off, and so we got to go watch the Chiefs game and come back. And so if the video ends here, we'll have a little bit more to say, and if it doesn't, we'll have some more games in. So see you here in a second. All right. So I am back. Chiefs game is over. They freshly won. We'll have to see if we can't recover, win ourselves, and get through this one. Ooh, it's always scary times for everyone in Kansas City. You see Patrick Mahomes got a little bit hurt out there. He got a little bit roughed up. So we'll see if we can make our way through this one and survive the day. And so reasonable enough stuff here. I won't ban Jinx Lulu. I think this matchup here is fine with everything we're doing. The Echo Zillion is a little bit less scary than an Echo Jinx. They're really kind of counting on the Echo to pull off the victories, and so I don't think I worry about that one either. And then the Vayne Jax, it's probably some kind of pretty heavy overwhelms number, which can cause some problems for the likes of Aatrox Vayne, but I think the Echo deck is the one that we ultimately want to take out. It's not a particularly enticing matchup for our Katarina Leona. And so that's the one I'm going to lead off with. I'm not sure what opponent would really be interested in starting with here. I would think that they start with their Jinx deck, and this is a fairly decent matchup for us. It's not the best in the world. It's not terrible. All right, need to just find some early game stuff to get out here with. I usually like to prefer to save these Solari Sunhawks until turn 3. You typically run into these spots to where the opponent wants to play Lulu on turn 3, and you can get the shutdown with the Sunhawk. If you get that shutdown, the games tend to be pretty heavy in your favor at that point, since they're so like heavily tempo invested in that 3-mana play, and then they lose out on it. And so, you know, we'll see. We'll see what turns up. Maybe we'll get it. Now a Solari Soldier. And so if we're going to follow that game plan, it's going to be a few turns before we're able to get the soldier on board, and I would like to get this Leona leveled up. I don't want to wait until like turn 5 or turn 6 before she gets her extra stats, and so we'll go ahead and drop her on board. Forge Chief is kind of interesting though. I think we want to leave the soldier back. It's kind of a rough spot for us if opponent blocks the 3-3 with the 3-1, lets the rear guard through, and then has that Forge Chief just open on board and ready to get the damage in. So I think we'll hang on to the soldier for just a moment. Still have to worry about that Lulu, though. If they are able to burst out of Flame Chompers, then you have a bit of an issue. But cool. He doesn't have any of the scary plays. Works for me.
Unyielding light.
See if he's got any more follow-up here. We can still do the same thing on turn 5 with Leona. We just got to see what he brings to the table. This has been a much slower set of cards than I was expecting, though. Not a particularly wide and aggro-y kind of draw coming out of the Jinx Lulu. All right. Ready to battle right into that guy.
Awaits out.
Reasonable enough Pale Cascade. Not like ultra scared of things like Squeaker, but he can grow, and it's nice to get this little bit of tempo advantage here. It's tough for the opposing deck to get bigger than us at this point, so works for me. Right. Curious if he just like opens for 5 here. Nope. It's got that Lulu. I'll say no thank you, sir. Not excited about the prospects of this Flame Chompered Lulu, and so we do get to bring in the stun. Can't add anything else to the board this turn, but Leona's primed and ready to block any of these smaller units, so hopefully we aren't facing down too much damage. All right, here comes the big attack. Nope. Oof. Very nice for us. And so I'm going to look to kind of pull off the same thing we did on the previous turns using the Solari Soldier for next turn. It's a little awkward now. Oh, it's not awkward. It's good that we drew the Sunhawk, but without drawing the Sunhawk, I was kind of intent to do the same thing to where we try and focus down the Lulu. And so we save the Solari Soldier as a stun target. Decent chance we want to just hook the Lulu anyways with Leona, but we'll see if opponent adds anything different to the board here, makes us care a little bit differently. You can't always just say like hook the Flame Chompers and be a little greedy and leave the Lulu out here. I'm not entirely opposed to it. I want to add in the rear guard, saving the stuns for a later turn. Yeah, the Lulu's the only unit we're actually worried about here. Looks good. Nice little bit of board clear. So, I mean, he's getting to this point to where he really needs Jinx to pop off. And we have a pretty healthy life total, so hopefully we're doing okay. Present these double stuns with the Sunhawk as well. If he adds a Lulu or adds a Jinx right now, get the stun on Smash and Dash and the big unit. So this is where it's going to get interesting. I'm curious about this next turn. Like if he stops adding stuff to the board and we just want to play Eye of Raharok. This is a pretty powerful card for the upcoming turn, and so I could definitely see it. And it does activate the Leona now, I think. All right, we really want to hit this Trumpet Tecker. When you activate another Daybreak, we would activate the Daybreak and then have the stuns for the upcoming turns. What does he still have at that point? He has the 1/3 Flame Chompers we don't care about. This is where it gets kind of bad, as we don't have a blocker for the Squeaker. Yeah, we do. We have Leona. Okay. I think this is fine. We're just going to get so many stuns next turn now. So he can take like a bad hook on to get Leona out of combat. We only have to deal with the one Squeaker. Yeah, that's good. We can just take it. It's not even that big of a deal. Might be a little greedy to just take it. But man, it's like we're going to roll into the next turn and we already have 4 stuns. So The thing that we're going to run out of next turn is just board space. I think this is probably safe. If this game continues to grind on, then we're not going to have any trouble winning it. To get the double decimate now for the big booms. All right. Who do we want here? We've got the 5 mana behind. Meteor Shower doesn't really kill anything, but we don't have the mana for the Golden Sisters. I think the Warrior's okay. He can still get involved in these combats. Is that what we even want to do? Like, we're probably just going to play the Soldier, stun the Smash and Dash. We get 1 hook with Leona. It's just like the Warrior doesn't actually kill anything here, right? And when we have 8 damage in hand, we only need to deal 8 damage here. So he's got to add a dude, or we'll definitely get that damage in. I wonder if this is just a hand like, oh wow. I was gonna say, I wonder if this is a hand just like where you have a Jinx, a Get Excited, and another card. It's just so much damage. All right, well, I guess we got our way through that one. Here comes Jinx, I guarantee it. No, maybe not. Big ol' dust. Okay, maybe I was on board. The Jinx. Alright, you get your burn spell, I get my burn spell. We'll call it a day. Ooh, alright. Victory achieved.
Our deeds will be written in the heavens.
After thinking back on it, I'm kind of wishing I'd taken that Golden Sister. You run into those spots to where you just need to get in like a couple points of damage and you can win with Decimate. And having those double Decimates and the elusive Sister been really close in terms of finishing off the game without even having any of the ground-based units doing stuff. All right, a little bit of a more challenging matchup here, though. The combats don't line up nearly as nicely with this deck. Our units are more trade heavy than they would be against than with the night or the Daybreak deck. But I'm going to be dropping the Tusk Speaker this turn. This is that same kind of spot to where I want to get the damage in on the opposing turn, because we do have Sejuani, right? So if we can get a Sejuani flip, this is the fastest way to do it. Interesting, interesting. He's not just going for the big damage here. So we should be able to pretty safely add these Redeemed Prodigies now. This is a big boost to the board in terms of, say, getting a trade with a small unit and then still having the ghostly bands churning upwards. Boom, bad, boom. Okay, I'm gonna say it does kind of suck if he brings in a Lulu and we don't get a trade, but reasonable here. Lulu is still pretty scary next turn. Just nothing we can really do about that attack. If he drops Lulu, we don't have the interactive measures to stop it. Gotta get somebody on board though. Can't just get domed for 1 million. All right, and I'm just gonna be mana efficient here. If we draw something like Gwen, then it's not as awesome. I would kind of prefer to have Gwen than these other units, but this should be okay if we're just getting dudes on the board at this point. Why are these units all so big? Oh, the Fury Horn Crasher. It's like everything has multiple health. It's just such a pain. All right, we gotta keep the guys back to block. It's just too good for opponent. Like if we start sending with everyone and he trades and he gets to refill his board and we can't stop it, I think we just have to kind of suck it up. Leave our guys back to block. Ew, gross. Oh boy. Okay. Well, that's a game, I guess. I don't think we have the stats to get out of this one. Okay. But sure. On to game 3, apparently. But that's a tough match, and you're really gonna struggle in that one as well when you pick up the double atrocity. You need to have the good interactivity early. But on to Jack's Vein. Let's see what we can do. It's been quite a while since I've really dealt with the Weapon Masters. It should be something that's I think we line up well against it, and it's something that once they go big, we have a lot of answers to just single target things. So I'm okay to hang on to Gwen here. We're on the even attacks, and if we pick up something, just like one unit early, I feel like we'll be okay. The opposing deck, it should have like fish fights, right? Fish fight is a reasonable way to try and take Gwen down, but outside of it, this deck shouldn't have too much interactivity. What you got for us? Doom Beast, you did us well earlier, but not exactly what we're looking for here. It would be kind of hype if we can take down the Hookmaster. Nope. Oh boy, nothing's gonna go right in this one. I don't think an open attack feels terrible for us. He's not adding anything else to the board, only taking 4 damage. Like, I think we are kind of stuck just dropping a naked Doom Beast in here, since it can, kind of contest his units. Ooh, wow. Interesting. Not what I was expecting. So Gwen would need to be getting hit with like a concerted strike here. That's definitely in the playbook of the opponent, but outside of that, I don't think I'm too scared. Just immediately takes it. Okay. So now we have a question of like, do we want to try an Unspeakable Horror, this Fleet Feather Tracker, or are we going to just say, is he going to play a card? That's fine. And a Jax, less fine. Oh boy, Spirits Unleashed ready to come in and try to do their thing. We'll see if we can pull off some magic with these things. And so, let's see. We're going to take 7. Does the Jax flip off of this? That's what the kind of big deal here is. This is going to be if we're able to Spirits Unleash these down again next turn to get some of the board cleared out. I know it doesn't do anything to the Elkin, but if we can get a 2-unit takedown, that will be pretty decent. So no fish fight from opponent. I like to think that if he had a fish fight in hand, he would have tried to play something a little bit more efficient, but it's kind of an odd collection of cards. You tap down to 1 mana and play Geralt. Like, I'm curious what else they would have access to. Interesting. Well, I think we have to take care of the Jax right now. I don't want to go into next turn and let him have a sharp sight. He has a thing to... if he has the thing to give him... give the whole team tough, that's kind of whatever, but I think this is okay here. You're getting blocked. There's no 2 ways around that. Or definitely throw a block in front of you. I'm curious if he has another Harpy, and that's why he was just playing expensive stuff on the previous turns. Very interesting. So can we Spirits Unleashed? I think it works. It's going to kill his Hookmaster. Still leaves us with like a Doom Beast if we need to throw down another unit. And then our team just having all these additional stats really does a lot of work in terms of dealing with his equipped units here. Look how big these Doom Beasts are now. It's crazy, right? Harpy number 2. Alright. Got such a nice health buffer now, though. Is that taking 8, destroying the spatula off of the one Harpy? Have to deal with the other one for sure, but hopefully gives us enough time to start rolling into the next round. Sejuani's pretty healthy as well. She's got quite a few stats here, so let's see what we can do with this. And it is really worth noting, if Sejuani gets in for damage here, then we do have an opportunity to start getting the Sejuani flip stuff in on the next turn. So if we get to say Unspeakable Horror to face and then drop in a Doom Beast, we have some serious potential. As long as the game can cruise on to that point. Looks like we're about to get blasted next turn though. Oh boy, he's just coming at us. He's just going to bring it. I haven't done the mathematics to see how far along these vengeances are going to get us, but... Ooh, this Castaway only has 1 health, so, I mean, we might only be taking 5 if he wants to open attack on us here. I was going to say, this really looks like an open attack. So this would just drop us to 4. And critically, assuming we don't get killed here, it does leave us with this Doom Beast to get the Sejuani flip for next turn. Whew. Oh, and a Moonlit Affliction. So we can do the can't block thing if we need to next turn. Oh boy, oh boy. Might have turned it. Squeeze them cheeks, fellas. We're real close. I mean, can he even stop a Sejuani attack next turn? He's got to have a removal spell, but I mean, we're only at Hallowed 1, I guess. But So he's down to 1 card. What could he like realistically do to stop us here? If we say Fury of the North Sejuani, Spirit of the Moonlit Affliction, 2 units, so he only has the 2 blockers out here, and then Sejuani's just coming in for 1,000,000. So, like a Concerted Strike would stop it. Do we need to worry about that kind of thing? So say we attack with Sejuani. She's going to be a 9. I mean, the attack is just good enough on its own. Right? I'm not entirely certain how this interaction works with the Blood-Cursed Harpy. Hopefully this isn't a mistake letting this thing stick, but I think we still lethal through it. It says neg 3 into 3, so it appears to be the case. Oof. Nice work, Sejuani deck. I haven't... That's one of those interactions I should know, but I know that like the big time Vayne era of playing the Harpy was back in the kind of prime Seraphine era, and we just didn't really play enough back then, and so, whew, that was an interesting take. Seraphine as being like just the actual literal best deck ever. I mean, I didn't play during the Twisted Fate era, or the Fizz Twisted Fate era, but looking onto the Seraphine and seeing like the 6 spell flip along with the good Biggest Fan and the 6 mana Barkeep, it probably was just the best deck in the world, and I didn't quite run into it like that. But here, back to this, I'm going to ban out the Braum Soraka. I think all of our decks can manage against Thralls, and everything should just smoke the Caitlyn deck, and so the Aatrox deck is the one that actually kind of worries me against Caitlyn. I think Sejuani Gwen should just murder it, and so we'll lead off with Aatrox Kayn. I mean, I guess Thralls could be kind of bad. I'm not certain. I feel better though about taking Thrall or taking Aatrox Kayn into these matchups than playing our really aggressive decks against Braum Soraka. Right. That's just I can't imagine we want to play either of those decks against Braum Soraka, and so I'm reasonably happy with this. I think this is okay. I was trying to decide if we wanted to maybe play this Keeper of the Box a little bit slower. I don't roll into the next turn and get it going, but I think it's fine to just stop. We can take a bit of damage here, and then ideally get this Keeper of the Box going next turn. I am going to go ahead and prevent this damage. I'm not, like, amped about trading with this Stinky Wump, but I don't want to really deal with it at the moment. It's just like what you typically run into against these Puff Caps decks is you just have to prevent as much damage as you can, and then you're okay from that point forward. And so if we can just like prevent that damage, start doing stuff with our Keeper of the Box, heal that damage back up, I think that's going to be okay. We never got our Darkened Blood letters down, so we might have messed up something in that sense, but
News from the Undercity ships, Detective Zane?
It's all in the report, Sarah. Should pay off nicely.
what we got there? We got Kayn. What's this one? Manifest an allied landmark that has been destroyed this game and summon it. Probably not doing the rite of passage. Can't even play it? I was like, maybe I'll just try and go ahead and play it so that if he has a... you know, we draw too many cards, I would rather just get rid of it so we don't overdraw something relevant. But, these stupid ass cards. Okay. But see what I'm talking about? We're drawing our Canes and our Aatroxes and everything, and if like a Kayn dies and we get the equipment back in our hand, we have the potential for these things to go poorly. And so I was hoping to just play the stupid rite of passage to get rid of it, but apparently we can't do that. Peacemaker onto Kayn. Doesn't kill him. Alright, well we're starting to build up. We're starting to get there. We'll see what he plays. Like I'm half tempted to just Unforgiven Cold the Caitlyn if she tries to open attack to get rid of her, although I would like to just start emptying out our hand.
How foolish.
Alright, well let's see if Big Daddy Kayn can't get the damage in here. He should have to come at us with like burn spells if he wants to kill the Kayn. Looks like he doesn't have it. Alright, I'm feeling much better about this. Like, a lot of the concepts in our deck play... Oh, shit. we just lost our equipment. I knew that kind of garbage was going to happen. Oh, we got it back. Interesting. But no, it's kind of interesting against the Flashbang Trap cards when we have, like, all these equipment that we can use to cycle around health, and we have Kayn jumping back to hand and Aatrox with Regenerate. It's like a lot of really powerful concepts against what he's doing here. But I think we're in a pretty commanding position now. Like, all of his units should be tiny. We have the heal from Rost and Aatrox to where we shouldn't have to worry about getting puff capped out. If he does come at us with Teemo, we've got a Furious Wielder in hand. Like, I think this is going swimmingly in our direction. Did opponent drop the phone in the toilet? Is that is that our situation now? It might be our situation now. They seem to have seem to have disconnected. All right, they're back. Game on. Game resumes. But this is good. I like the Darkened Fan. Same idea as these other cards in the sense that if we can just keep our health total high, it should be really tough for the opposing deck to try and stop what we're doing. Okay. And an entrapment. So we get to see the cards. I guess we don't get to see which one they pick, though. We have 2 wielders and then only one of the other cards in our deck. All right, let's start just dropping as many cards as we can now. I'm going to double equipment. We'll put 1 on the Bakai, 1 on the Keeper of the Box. Activate the traps. All right. Whiff. Put the harp on the Keeper. I'm going to put the Lodestone onto the Bakai. And then we have this momentous choice this round, which we'll probably play to take down Karina. But we'll see how they go about it. I mean, realistically, hang on. This is the way to do it, right? This is a 5-attack Kane now. Yeah. I guess we're missing out on overwhelm damage this way, but getting the murder directly onto Karina is pretty good. All right. Fine. We'll just lose the ambitious cultist. I don't know. I feel like I'm getting a little bit autopilot in this game now, but I think we can save the momentous choice for the likes of our Rost and for our Aatrox. You know, not to say that we don't care about some of these units, but let's be real. Some of these units are stronger than the other ones, and so I appreciate all the things that you do for us units, but Aatrox is a little bit stronger than Dark Thrall. All right, Mushroom Cloud coming in. Let's get furious on this wielder. I wouldn't have even felt terrible given the number of puff caps that were in our deck, but... Alright. Opponent says I had enough. Enough of that Aatrox Kane. Let's move on. Let me play my Thralls. Alright, Gwen Sejuani. So, I mean, I think it should be okay against the likes of Thralls. I don't know. I haven't played against Thralls since they got the addition of the Rock Bear generator thing. I assume that they're playing it, but I haven't ran into it yet, and probably need to be a little bit more aggressive than Ancient Yeti. Can play it on turn 4 and start it. Oh, opponent says that's too much. That's too much for me, Bust. You ruined my day with the Aatrox, and I can't handle it anymore. So, onward and upward. Into the next battle. Whew. Did y'all watch that Chiefs game? Did you all take the time out of your day to observe the greatest football team in the world? It was good. It was tense. It's such a tense moment. Like, Mahomes got hurt 2 seasons ago. I can't remember if it was 1 or 2 seasons ago. I think it was 2 seasons ago. He got his ankle rolled again, and it is like everyone in Kansas City just like collectively squeezed him, like like you're at 2 health playing against Timo, and I think he had to sit out the rest of the game, and they still managed to win with Chad Henne playing backup, and then he was back the next week. I think I don't remember. It's been too long and too emotionally challenging. But all right, on to the next set of battles here. Again, I'm fine to play against Jinx Lulu. That's the deck on the right. The Pirates matchup is okay as well, so we can leave it up. And then I've mentioned that my typical worry in playing Leona is playing against other Leona decks. And I think, what is this? It's probably just like 3 Leona, 2 Katarina, 1 Aphelios. But I ultimately worry about that being the bad one for us. And so I'm not surprised to see the Aatrox Vayne ban come in. Let's lead off with our Leona deck. And so we might struggle a little bit with the likes of the Sejuani deck. Neither of these are like spectacular matchups. They're of course winnable, but we would ideally get a win here so we get 2 shots with the less aggro-centric deck. All right, up to battle against Jinx Lulu. Good start. Good start. I think we can get rid of the Priestess here. Our early game is so well set up. I would kind of like to find another 1-drop if we can, but good stuff. So I think we're going to want to come in and just go ahead and take the shutdown on Bird. The problem we'll run into next turn is all of our cards will just die to the Crimson Pigeon anyways. And so it's not that big of a deal running into him. But I do want to get the Bird on board. I would prefer to have our shield breakers on the future turns once he starts to have like Lulus and a little bit bigger units on the board. Okay, now our 3/3 should survive everything. We got our birds ready. Let's see if Lulu comes down. Say no thank you, dear. All right. Have to see if we can't do that again next round. Is that where we want to be? I mean, probably is. Oh my gosh, so many pigeons. Birds literally everywhere. So let's see. We're wanting to keep everybody above 2 health. That's the kind of big number here, right? I don't think it needs to be like this. Here we go. Guess we can attack with the Sunhawk as well. So we got a 3/3, a 3/5, a 3/3, a 4/3, and a 2/2. Okay, and then if he wants to put his weaker units in front of the Sunhawk to just get blasted by our other dudes, I'm pretty okay with that. I would assume that probably Squeaker is going to come in and block something. He may put the Shadow Tech in front of Sunhawk and then just get reamed for 9. Yeah, he's probably stuck blocking with his Lulu here. Looks pretty good though. Now we just need one of those value cards to help push us through. This is why I really liked adding the Solari Priestesses to the deck. As you find yourself in a spot like this and you're just kind of like, oh, well, you know, I'm about to run out of cards. I really need to find something to do. And, the Daybreak cards are what, or the Daybreak cards, that's not really an indicator to who I'm talking about. The Solari Priestess is the one that really helps grind through these turns. Okay, let's see what else comes in. I mean, this seems like he's just generating the sword. He's putting the sword onto the Shadow Tech, and that's going to be his attack for the turn. Oh no, he just discarded it. Interesting. Because that was also going to give him a 3/2 Squeaker to kind of interact with our fellas out here. Oh, he had 2 spears. Okay. Gotcha. And now, again, I want to save the bird for next turn. Ooh, Katarina. Interesting. So So we'll see what she does. It's a pretty weak stun for the turn. It's going to hit the Shadow Tech Walker, but we're in a pretty commanding position, especially if he spends like a bunch of mana and we get to attack with Katarina. He has to be in this spot like we kind of mentioned in that previous game to where he's just building up to Jinx. And this hopefully gets him a little off track. Just didn't have the Jinx. Good stuff. Okay, but good deal. I'm usually pretty confident in that match. The way that they usually get you is if they have those like really go wide draws and you can't answer their elusives. So we just had that really big early game daybreak stuff against them, and it's tough to stop. Okay, a little bit too early for vengeances, but the butler and the horror are okay. Now the host turns up. Well, it's like, it's not a great place for the Phantom Butlers, because you assume he's just going to play a 2-1, and then he's going to say, I see your butler, so I'm going to drop the spear on you. But ideally, we can get him to drop a spear and then just get him with the unspeakable horror. So we'll see how it turns out. Life's a little bit different now that we just hit double Boisterous Host. We could potentially leave the butler at home. I want to see what opponent does. In terms of putting units on the board and see if we still get a free attack with the butler, which we do. That's pretty cool. Now, I don't think I want to attack with our hosts, right? It's just another spot to where it's very easy for him to flood the board, and I think we want to keep these on blocker duty for the moment. Oh, fam, bring me the sauce. Oh my gosh, are you all ready for this? Uh-oh. Let's see if we get it. Let's see if we get that concession right away. Oh no, what a top deck. Uh-oh. It says, bust, you just boomed 5 of my units. That does not feel good. That does not feel good, I can tell you that. Alright, so we just gotta grind him out the best we can now. I'm fine to trade away these Boisterous Hosts. He has to just be in the mode now to where he's trying to kill us with Jinx. So let's just prevent all the damage that we can. Hopefully we'll come up on Sejuani and be able to just overwhelm in a bunch of damage. So Phantom Butler's good. Doom Beast is going to be good. Oof. Spirits Within, man. Spirits Unleashed. I can't call it the right name ever, but I can be happy when we get to play it, that's for certain. 5/4 Salty Spinner. Okay. Well, this should stop, I was going to say, if he has to come in and block everything, it feels pretty good for us. It gets us up to Hallowed 4. So all of our attacks are just going to be super big. We got a pretty good health buffer here. I'm not upset. He really needs that Jinx to come down now. He has this right card in hand. I guess you wouldn't pick up Professor Von Mech if you had Jinx already. This is kind of interesting. Now, let's be real. If we get Sejuani into an attack next turn, we're just going to win the game, right? We're going to attack with Sejuani, she's going to get huge, and then we're going to Atrocity. And so let's just keep that in mind is what we're going to be doing here. It should be so tough for him to actually burn her down. Now, I was starting to think, if we want to get cute and play the Redeemed Prodigy and Unspeakable Horror and get the Sejuani tick up, but I think that's a little ambitious. Just a little ambitious. There we go. 10 to the old nugget. GG. All right. Well, we had the 4 buys into the final battle. We had to take the hard route in. That guy was hanging out in the top 100. We had to battle Sir Termund. We had another High Masters guy along the way. And so, you know, I guess we got to do it the hard way to get here. See what we can do. Curious if we should have just instantly queued, if we're going to have to play that same guy again. But, oh, is this guy bringing... We played the Jinx Poros deck in a video a couple days ago. I wonder if he's bringing the Jinx Poros deck as well. Interesting. I'm still just going to ban out Aatrox Kane, but... Oh man, I wonder if that's what's about to come at us. That was one of those decks I was pretty interested in giving it a try. I didn't have time to get the numbers right, and it seems like, you know, there's such power there with the Spirits Within and everything, but... Whew, man. Guess that's what we're about to find out. That's what we're about to see if we're up against. But okay, nice little curve here against Red Gwen. The bird into the Shield Bearer into the Sun Guardian. A lot of stats to throw at him. Probably just want to switch to the Soldier. The Pigeon's not... he runs into a lot of poor combats here. The way that this becomes kind of a downside is as we get to turn 4, we may not have anything to boost the Sun Guardian with, but we can pivot if we want and then just not play the Shield Bearer. So I think that's probably the way to go about it. He didn't show us a Quietus just yet, and so we might be able to save the Shield Bearer for a turn from now, get a little bit better action out of it. And a foyer. We don't have to attack into this board. Like, how bad can it be, though? So we attack with everybody. He blocks the pigeon, or he blocks the soldier with the boisterous host. We're going to lose it, but then our other units get to grow. Then the way that this turns out to be bad is if he puts a block onto the Sun Guardian and then has a Ravenous Flock. I don't think this is good. Let's just give it a little bit of time. We're just getting like so much better board than him that I'm not quite willing to send that in. Right, we're like if he wants to attack here, we're taking 2 damage. He's getting to build up a little bit. He's getting his Halloweds on board, but he's going to be in this space to where he's just going to have like 1 relevant unit every turn. That doesn't seem that great. Going to kill Katarina though. We have all this safety net here. We can Nox and Fervor our Shield Bearer into Katarina. So that we don't like really lose out on anything. He's still technically got enough stats behind. And then if he kills the unit, right, if he has, I don't know, a Disintegrate to go along with his Blade's Edge, then we can take that one down. I do forget about Mark of the Isles, though. That's a bit unfortunate, but it's not. It's one that I've started to see come around here recently, and it just doesn't feel like quite on my radar enough for me to remember it. That's a bummer, though. I feel like that was a good angle, in that, you know, if he has something weird to kill our unit, then the Katarina shouldn't get to strike. But man, he handled that well. So I'd kind of like Leona for next turn. Like, does opponent really add a Katarina this turn? I don't think so. But I don't want damage on our Leona is where the problem starts to fall. So let's just bring in Ravoon. He's big enough to party, if you will. he can block with the Boisterous Host and Ravenous Flock, but otherwise, the Ravoon's looking good. Alright, well, we got to start getting these attacks in. can't just sit around forever. He's going to build up to too much. Interesting pickup, though, with the Eye of Raharok. It's like it gives us a way to potentially shut down this Katarina for a while. But, I mean, I think if he's just adding Katarinas for these summons, that it's a fair turn for us. It doesn't feel that bad. Are you going to attack us, friend?
They're afraid. They should be.
That's too much damage. Okay, but Katarina goes back to hand. We should be increasingly safe. I don't know, man. It's easy to misjudge how much damage that these decks are able to throw at you, but I'm hoping that with the Leona coming in and where our stats all stand here, that we're going to be picking up the damage soon enough. So now here's where it gets a little awkward. I would prefer to be getting the stun on the round. I think if opponent passes here, we're okay with it, right? He's wanting to add Katarina and get the rally and then make a second attack for the turn. I think if he plays Katarina, then we have Leona. That shuts down pretty much this whole play. And then if he just sends the turn back to us, I think that's fine. So we do have to worry a little bit, like the Blade's Edge is enough to take down Leona. So it's like he attacks with the Ghastly Band, we throw Leona in front, and he drops the Blade's Edge on our unit. But I'm hoping that we can build up enough next turn just to get a kill. Like, Leona's not coming back to hand. We have Sun Guardian, Solari Priestess to get 2 sets of stuns, and then Leona can hook something out of combat, so hopefully it's just enough. Can't fall to 3, though. We're going to get Nox and Fervored that way. All right, it's looking close. It's looking close. I don't like where this stands. I'm curious if next turn we shouldn't just be going for the Eye of Raharok. Gets a stun onto Leona again, cycle into the next turn, and then just get the double stun at the start. Wow. Okay. Again, we have to block. We can't just take this. We'll get killed by Nox and Fervor. Ah, brutal. Such a good Blade's Edge in hand. So how do we feel about this now? I mean, I feel like we have to just go for the eye play. He is going to get the 1 free unit out of it, right? He'll get... Tellstones turns up, though. I think we're stuck. So we'll see what he does. Like, the way that this should go is, assuming he doesn't have any more units on the board, is his Opulent Foyer will activate before the eye, right? Since his round start stuff happens before our round start stuff because he's going to have the attack token. I think that's the way it works. And so, ideally here, if he plays a unit, we're just going to be able to kill it with Leona. He should probably just avoid that kind of thing. But if, like, he just passes and we pass, I think that's okay. This is such a rough spot in terms of these attacks. Feels like we were so close and it just went so downhill with the Katarina and the Shunpo. So he will get 1 unit this way, right? These eyes stun the weakest one. So we're going to have to come in and attack something. I'm curious if he adds anything else now. The downside with this is, like, I was worried in the sense that, say we want to hook Katarina, that's a pretty high value target. Then if he just has another Katarina, we're pretty boned, right? That's a pretty horrific thing for us to have to deal with. But I think we're just stuck taking her in now. So, I mean, if we kill the Katarina, we need to leave her up, right? So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna hook in the Boisterous Host. This way, the Eternal Dancer should get stunned. And so he'll still have the Katarina up. She can still come in and attack and everything, but hopefully we'll just be able to kill her with the Tellstones if we need to. So right, his unit summons, then the Eye does its thing. He attacks with Katarina, right? We're gonna block and Whirling Death.
I will protect you.
Okay. That's how we can get out of this one, right? It's supposed to be right. Glimpse beyond. Okay. So let's see if he has a second one. That's what's going to be, you know, the potential for problem. If not, we have a bunch of stuns and stuff in hand, so hopefully we can power through next turn. So as a real talk here, do we want to go ahead and drop a Solari Priestess? So right, next turn's going to start. We're going to get the 2 stuns. We only get 1 Daybreak for the round, but we'll play the second Priestess for that. So as it stands, we're at like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That would take the Sun Guardian up to 11. And then the Leona's Morning Light gives the +1/+1 to everyone. Jesus Christ. Oh my god, is he going to have a Ravenous Flock here? How sick is that? He hasn't had a Ravenous Flock up to this point. It's like, I'm just curious if we can even win the game next turn with the Sun Guardian. It'll be close.
Her light will always rise.
Oh my god. Alright, well, we do have it. We at least have Leona in hand, I guess, but fucking savaged. He's just so far ahead at this point with his Hallowed 8. It's not a lot you can do about it. Alright, so we get our 1 stun. This Eye was really good. We just couldn't come up with enough around it to get the victory. Now we have Katarina. We still have to just get Leona on board, though, right? I think maybe we can pull off enough with the Katarina coming in and giving us a second attack. It's going to be tough to do.
The party never ends, nor its spillages.
Feel the sun's glory.
Alright, let's clear what we can. I assume he's going to block. If he doesn't, that's probably pretty okay. If we're looking to drop Katarina in, we get the Blade's Edge onto the Butler. I think we're going to be short of lethal, so we're not getting those style of kills in. And Gwen. Just everything. Just literal everything.
Let the bloodshed begin.
We have to just leave her up. Oh shit! I was I saw this dude getting all the rallies. I just assumed that we were going to get a rally as well. Apparently, that's not how the game works. Sure. Oh, you're just going to get savaged here. The Eternal Dancers is going to bring back Katarina and give him the rally. This game is pretty done, unless he does something really weird. Brutal. Felt like we were so close to just knocking that one out of the park, and then just went downhill so quick. That was just such a ridiculous Katarina turn. Like it all came down to that block. If we'd did we? I think that I don't remember what our board was, but it's starting to feel like the better play on that turn was to. Like the turn where we blocked the Katarina with our 3/6 and tried to Nox and Fervor, we should have just blocked her with a unit that would have gotten killed by the Nox and Fervor. And so even if he had some way to to stop the Nox and Fervor, he wouldn't have gotten to flip the Katarina, because that's where everything just went downhill. And so that's something to keep in mind. Like if that Katarina hadn't flipped, we would have just smoked that game. Brutal, brutal. But back to the action here against Jinx. I'm going to lead off with the Solari Soldier. If he plays a 2-1 on the first turn, I'd like to win the combat. And then we'll circle back around with this really aggressive draw here. We can get the two 1-drops on turn 2 and then follow up with the Sunhawk on turn 3, stun any blockers that he has. Hopefully that's enough to carry the game. I like to think that I'm the one that brought Shunpo to the world. Nobody was playing it. And then I included my one copy in the Leona deck. We put it on the Runeterra AR, and I feel like Shunpo has really popped off since then. And so I take credit. It was all me. Love it or hate it, it's what Bust brought to you. Okay. All right, he's going to get the combat. Sure. So do we even want to drop a Sunhawk on this board? Just going to stun a Daring Poro? It's going to depend on what we draw. I think I'm on board. Like, I'm realistically feeling like we might want to Shunpo next turn. The way that this is bad, I guess, is if he has... let's do this. Hang on. If he has, like, the Poro Herder, the guy that searches up the Poros, if that's on the table, then, like, it shuts down a lot of our attack here. But I'm fine to trade off with this Poro, and then we can look to roll into the next turn. We'll have the 7 mana, right? 3 banked and +4. So we can Sunhawk Shunpo and then maybe get in something with Ravoon. That might be, like, a little overly aggressive, but... I like keeping these Poros out and off of the board and keeping him on the back foot. It stops him from playing things like Spirits Within. Because he just has to put blockers down so he doesn't die.
Fight or die.
Let's see if anything else is coming down. Ruthless Raider number 2. I felt like a little bad about that first one. I really wanted to hit it with the Shunpo, but I guess if the second one's coming down, see if he's got a Troll Chant. Nice. All right, then we'll put the damage on the rear guard. No need to leave the two health units on board. We'll just let, if he wants to trade the Poro into the rear guard, I'm okay with it. Looks good. Got him down to 1 unit. We have 2 on board, about to drop Ravoon. Whew, okay. Keep him on the back foot. That Solari Priestess is a little tempting. Is you know there's no units that you can pick up with the Priestess, so she's not going to get the job done. There's the Spirits Within. Okay. Spirits Unleashed. I'm never... I don't know what Spirits Within even is. I'm never going to call that card the right name, though. It's just, it's beyond my ability to call that card the right name. Alright, got him to 8. So we should be good to just decimate him out at this point. There's I mean, there's like, realistically, there is Freylord Heal, but is the Freylord Heal really on the table? I don't know about that. We'll see what he opens with. It doesn't strike me as being truly on the table with this deck. Like, he's not playing Catalyst to the Aeons. And then if he is, I guess you did it, bub. Like, I don't know what else you're supposed to say at that point. But I'm just doing it. I'm just doing it. It's like, we can Sunburst Jinx, but I just can't imagine he has the way to get out of this. He doesn't have any card generation. We don't have to worry about that stuff. Alright, there's a rummage.
You know it's here somewhere.
Alright. Decimate.
Now it's a party.
Okay, final battle, game 3. Bring it upon us. Got Blue Gwen against the team of Poros. Whew. Alright. See if we can do it, fam. Let's hydrate before the battles begin. Alright, prepared. So what do we got? Reasonable looking start. I think we're okay to hold on to Gwen. It's just like her lifesteal seems like it should be so incredibly good in this match. I know we don't get to use her until turn 5, but we're not the aggro in this match, and having just the kind of guaranteed lifesteal unit that he's terrible at blocking, I think I'm pretty on board with. It's going to play it super slow. I do want to see if we can't like find something to do with this unspeakable horror, and so I think we'll wait till next turn before we drop it. That attack wasn't going to be spectacular either way. Ooh, look at this. Now we pick up the Spirits Unleashed.
We shall sing, dance, and forget our woes.
He doesn't add anything. He's looking to play his next turn, and so I'm going to go ahead and take his unit off of the board, because this is just like clear setup to playing his own Spirits Unleashed.
For me, the spirits dance.
I think this is okay. It's kind of a bummer. Like, maybe we should have just opened and banked and saved this for next turn. Because he's gonna like, if we know that he's just going to play Spirits Unleashed, he's gonna have a 1/1 Flame Chompers at the end of the day. We're gonna lose our Boisterous Host. Oh, okay. Well, that's positive. Not what I expected. Interesting. Then he no-plays it. Interesting, team. I'm bamboozled by that. I think this is where our spirits are going to unleash. He brings his. Might as well go ahead and bring mine. Or would we rather play Gwen? Maybe we just play Gwen. I want to keep the Yeti around, because the Yeti is going to cheapen up. We could even drop Yeti next turn. Maybe we just don't Spirits Unleashed. I think that's where it is. So we'll add Gwen. Next turn we'll Yeti and Doombeast, and his units aren't big enough to really deal with what we're putting forth.
The winter's claw strikes. The winter's claw.
Okay. I guess the question you have to start to ask yourself is, does he ever have a second one? Which would be pretty bad. Oh man, I did that thing where we count our mana wrong. I'm pretty bad about doing that. I just added up all the mana and was like, oh, we were gonna have 5. We can play, you can play the Yeti and we can play the Doom Beast. No, we cannot. What's this, Troll Chant? Oh, wow. That seemed like a spectacular turn for us. I don't know how he's planning to win the game, having his units go away like that. Okay.
Just you and me, Fishbones. And them.
I guess Jinx is a way to a way to try and answer that question. How do we feel about her? I mean, we have the three sisters in hand. We can try to... We have a few options, right? We can try and flash freeze her, we can entomb her, or we could just ignore her. I'm leaning towards ignore, but he's able to like take down our Yeti. How bad is that? That seems pretty bad. This is especially nice if he has like 2 units in hand and can't spew and get the death rocket. Like if he can't death rocket and then kill off our Yeti, we're in a great spot for the next turn. Okay. So the Yeti's gonna fall. My new question is like, can we just kill him with atrocity next turn? Right? That's where you start to get close. Is like, oh, can we just get an atrocity kill here? I'm gonna go ahead and drop the Doom Beast. It's not. It's like not realistically dealing damage. It's gonna come in and prevent. We just need to survive a little bit longer. Okay, Death Rocket in. This is our hallowed is so low now is what the problem is. Interesting, he's still got... Oh, I guess he's not overriding anything to get the Poro on board.
This one could use a trim.
Alright, here comes the stuff. I'm going to block with Gwen. We know what he has in hand. It's just that one card. And he can't kill her right now, right? He can't hit her with a Death Rocket for 2 more turns. And so we have some means in hand to protect her with the 3 sisters and everything, and she's going to attack and flip. And so I think that she can hang out and feel fairly safe about it for the round. And Unspeakable Horror. Alright, well, I'm not willing to put her at risk with the Spirits Unleashed. Like, maybe after he does some stuff, we'll look at that, but right now it's too scary.
No matter their resolve, mine will be stronger.
Star Guardian Gwen, ready for battle. So I want to see him play this like last card in hand, right? The other thing I'm kind of looking at is like Gwen is going to fall to 4 health next turn, and I'm eyeballing this atrocity. We don't have the mana to I'm looking at this damage. It's like we have 1 Spirits Unleashed, 1 Unspeakable Horror. We could look to Atrocity away Gwen now, but he'll just like open kill us next turn. That seems pretty bad. So let's at least get a Lunari Priestess on board. I think we want to Unspeakable Horror his face now. Why is this guy so big? Oh, he got Omen Hawked. Okay. But let me double check this, right? Next turn we're going to have... We don't have the mana to 3 sisters to give Gwen +3/+4 to then Atrocity, is what this all amounts to. We just going to die to a Death Rocket this way? Is that what happens? Because he has 6 on board with these guys. Well, this will take us to 11. I was thinking if we wanted to switch and say Unspeakable Horror, a Daring Poro, and then try and Spirits Within to get this extra damage in. I don't want the Daybreak cards. I want the Nightfall cards if we're going to Heavens Aligned. Alright, so there's the Jinx. He's going to get the Death Rocket, right?
Excuse me?
We have to block. Have to block.
Quick snip.
Have to... Oh, no, we don't have to... He has the one card. We die to Death Rocket. Or no, we don't die to Death Rocket, right? We're just going to fall to 5. We would die to any burn spell or and we need the Spirits Unleashed. Can't quite do it with the Inner Beast. So it's like the question is, do we want to flash freeze a Daring Poro? I don't think, like, if we lose our Gwen, we just lose the game, right? Oh, you know what the other thing is? Is what if we entomb... Ooh, is this the play? What if we do this? We entomb the Jinx? Here we go, here we go. And so now, if this isn't like a burst speed card, he's not going to get the Death Rocket. Whew. Okay, okay.
Shining softly.
All right, all right.
Nothing to fear.
So Gwen, is it the 3 damage pop?
What a joy.
Do we want to just go big and go for the Overwhelm? I think so. Leaves us with 7 mana behind. Alright, well, she didn't get hit with a Death Rocket, or she didn't get hit with a Get Excited yet. Okay, okay. He discards something.
Nothing to fear.
I think we did it. I think we did it. Neg 9 into 6. It's tough to have one card here to deal 5 to face or to stop the Gwen. Oof. Oof. Think we figured it out there at the end of the day, fam. Think we got it. So, whew, that was tough. Hope you all were squeezing them the whole way for me there. I didn't think we were going to be able to pull that one down. That Entomb play there at the end really slipped me, and I'm glad that we were able to figure that out as a way to both protect our Gwen and not let the Death Rocket happen. And so, we did it. We said, Riot, I should have 4 buys into this thing. They say, F you. What is this? Wait, what happened with the... Did they reset the Last Chance Gauntlet? No way. What is this? The cutoff time is on the 24th? And it just says your prime glory 0. I don't know, man. I don't know what the deal with that is. It's time for the main event. What? I don't know. I guess we'd have to ask someone about that. But we made it that far in. I don't know. We'll just have to message someone, I guess. But, well, we'll see what's going to happen, I guess. And so, I guess that's going to do it for us today. We'll contact the customer support, see if we get to play in seasonals. And then that's a bummer, man. It was such a high to come right back into a low with the tournament. Oh, there it goes. Okay, it just took it a minute to recycle. We feel a little bit better about that, man. I got so bummed. Like it was such a roller coaster having the 4 buys coming in and then having it all go away and then playing in and having to do some really tough battles all throughout the event to have that really strong match against that guy in the thing, and then to come in here and have the thing not update. That was pretty brutal. And so I feel much better now. And so that is going to do it for us today. I've gone too long, and so I'm not going to talk about the lineup or anything, but I like it. I think that was fine. And we'll be getting ourselves prepared for the seasonals. And so I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. And so I hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way and had a good time watching. This is Bust, and we thank you for being here.